alive right now? What purpose is there for you? No one's going to come and tell you. You get to decide it for yourself, and then the world will rearrange around you to make it true. Do you remember the day you discovered atoms? I remember the day, like you all know, I hate public school, okay? I hate public schooling. I do think a lot of my public schooling experiences contributed greatly to the person I am today, but for the majority of people, public school system is just a way of breaking them down, making them blindly obedient to authority, remembering horrible and traumatizing things like slavery and history, things that are, useless. For the most part, as you can see, people are very gung-ho to repeat history again right now, learning that history in school didn't do anything to help them, okay? But I remember the day I learned about atoms, when the teacher said, what is this block made of? And I was like, wood. And they're like, it's hard, you can hit it. And they're like, no, it's made of little pieces of energy, and there's space between it. And I just remember going, what? Right? It just challenged my entire reality. And I think so many of us get caught up in the nature of, the daily grind, the chop wood, carry water side of enlightenment, that we forget how much of a miracle everything is. We forget that we're ultimately living in a mystery. As many of you know, I am a master at changing my realities in this life, switching forms, switching countries, switching energy. And so I'm going to do a series helping everyone who's in a situation right now, who's in a version of reality, a storyline in the video game of their life that they are interested in shifting, changing. I have an infinite number of personal anecdotes about the nature of this reality, but it's also something that's been studied by scientists for a really long time. Take the Copenhagen interpretation by Niels Bohr in 1920. This discovered that a quantum particle does not exist in one state or another, but in all possible states at the exact same time. The only thing that changes it into one state is humans observing it. Human consciousness focused at this particle will force it to change into one state. But when human consciousness is not focused on this particle, it exists in all realms of possibility. And that gave rise to the observer effect, which proves and shows that human consciousness focused on something, human attention focused on something, causes it to shift. And this is what's going on right now. This is what has been going on for so many years, right? Through Hollywood, through the news media, through the public school system. They want people to focus on, the negative, the drudgery, the dull. So only those of us like me, or like many of my viewers, we kept our minds in a realm of fantasy, possibility, nature, beauty, wonder, art, literature, and creativity. And what's happening now is we have all of the news stories, the fear, right? Before any of this happened, they had all the doomsday movies with the comets coming down and the zombie apocalypse where you gotta, fight your neighbor for the last jug of milk at Costco, whatever the hell. You can see for many people the reality that they've been focused on repeatedly for so many years is starting to come true, and it's bothering me. I am seeing people who I really care about, back in Canada where I came from, I live in Mexico now, who are feeling desperate, they're feeling afraid. And so that's part of why I wanted to make this video series, just to let anyone know that you can change your reality. Just about 2.5 years ago when this all started, I was in the worst state of my life. I was convinced that my best solution going forward 100% would be to end my own life, and I was carrying out plans to make that happen. And looking back, I'm just so glad that I decided to refocus my human consciousness and change the possibility that I had previously been focused on. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have experienced the most beautiful 2 years of my life. I wouldn't have experienced the camaraderie, the strength and health in my body, the light codes from the sun, the expansion of my consciousness, my wisdom and my energy. I wouldn't have experienced finally finding forgiveness and empathy for my parents and myself. Hello, sweeping lady. You look lovely today. So let's get back to the basics. So the basic we're going to talk about today is the basic belief about your life. What do you believe about your life? This is a time where you really need to know who you are, why you're here, okay? And I'm not talking about what's your name, what do you do for a living, are you someone's mom or daughter, or, these are the things that people talk about when you ask them, who are you? I'm talking about where you were before you were born. I'm talking about where you're going after you're done here with these physical human suits that allow us to navigate through this reality, right? I call this my avatar. This is my avatar that you're looking at. You see, hair, you see eyes, you see facial expressions, you hear my voice, you think of me as a name, right? You see my body. But this is just a representative of what I actually am. This is how I show up in this reality to interact with planet Earth. This is not who I am, right? I experienced that from a very young age. When I was 4 years old, I drowned in a pool. And I remember the feeling when my soul left my body and looking down from above, and the ceiling of this huge swimming pool and seeing what my body looked like without me in it. That was when I was like, oh, that's not who I am, because that body has its eyes closed, but I can see. Even with all of the spiritual experiences I had during the time when things got tough, like during the beginning of the pandemic, when I was all alone, I was working at a completely dead-end job, I was overweight, I was addicted to food, I was miserable, I was scared as hell. I believed that there was not a plan for my life. I believed that I was a product of my parents' lust, bad decisions, and that I was alone in the world, and that my life was over, that I had made too many mistakes, and that this world had held nothing more for me than continued pain and suffering. But those of you who follow me on Instagram may remember that there was one day where I just got a feeling that I was going to change my reality and see what happened. I decided I was going to make the next 2 years the best 2 years of my life, no matter what happened. I had a beautiful dress on. I had the sun shining on my face. Now, this is a very key thing for me. The sun is activating something inside of my cells that I don't have any other way to explain. But I just decided to enjoy the moment, every little thing about every little moment, and then string those moments together until they just became more and more frequent. And that's what happened. That's why I've found myself in the new storyline I have now, right? The storyline I was in before was I'm a miserable, single, overweight girl with no family in the apocalypse, to now I am part of a community. I'm doing work I'm proud of. I am prospering. I am healthy in my body. I work out regularly. I have so much energy and joy that I dance, and I have a meaningful life. I have had the perfect life to make me into the person who can deliver this message today during this time. I realized that I had a duty to heal my childhood trauma, my depression, my anxiety, that so many people in the bloodline before me had suffered through this. So many people who are part of my DNA family here on Earth were still suffering under this. And I felt that I had access to the resources, I had the drive, and I could figure this out. I decided I was a cycle breaker. I decided I was the chess piece that God had placed on the board under the perfect circumstances at the perfect time. And instead of seeing my life as cursed and difficult, I saw it as something that was molding me into the amazing human being that I had always wanted to be. So no matter what happened in my life, it would be for the better. That was when things started to change. My reality started to shift around me to make this actually become true. So think about that for yourself. Why do you believe you're here? Why are you alive? What is the purpose of your life? The thing is that when we're born, we aren't really told this, other than for some people whose parents try to force that on them and tell them who you are, this is why you're here, this is what you believe, and you're going to fit into this mold, right? That happens to a lot of people. Many people, including many people's parents, have been broken in that way as well. But for those of us who are here for the spiritual experience of life, who are here for God and not for the world of man, it's your duty to discover what God's true purpose and mission is for you here in this life. And that starts with examining your story. Who are you? Why are you the way you are? And why are you alive right now? What purpose is there for you? No one's going to come and tell you. You get to decide it for yourself, and then the world will rearrange around you to make it true. If you need help with this, if you want someone to talk through your life story, help you find the critical pieces and form where it is you'll be going in the future, what you can start doing today, you can book a call with me below, and I'd love to help you out with that. You can also just leave a comment on this video, sharing your thoughts, your experiences, your answers to these questions, and we'll all go down in the comments and support each other. I just want to give a shout out to Choco Cookies, who is a newer subscriber who has been going through all of my old videos and leaving these in-depth, interesting comments on them, which is really great. It brings some of my older videos back into the algorithm. It helps my channel so my messages reach more people, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to Choco Cookies. Now, I've got this video right here that will help you get more information on how to change your reality. I've also got YouTube to pick a video just for you from my channel. That one's right here. That could be completely random based on who you are, and you'll find there's a message in that video for you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.